Hey guys, welcome to Harry Potter Theory. In this video, we're going to be discussing a question that I'm sure is at the forefront of many Harry Potter fans' minds. Who is more powerful, Voldemort or Dumbledore? Voldemort and Dumbledore are the yin and yang of wizards, each extremely powerful and a strong representative of the classic relationship between good and evil. Each one acting as a symbol for the invariable struggle between light and darkness. We know how Harry Potter ends, and we know that Voldemort is unsuccessful in securing a shroud of darkness over the world. But that doesn't mean that he wasn't the most powerful wizard of all time. And the fact that light prevailed doesn't mean that Dumbledore was the most powerful wizard. We've got to look deeper. Many assume that because Voldemort ultimately lost, and because Dumbledore is good, that Dumbledore is the more powerful figure. However, this is not a sound argument. Whether you are good or evil has nothing to do with your inherent power. From an extremely young age, Tom Riddle showcased intensely powerful innate magical abilities. He was a magical prodigy, if you will. As he grew older and he began to harness his abilities, Riddle became unimaginably powerful, performing feats of magic that people thought previously impossible. And he knew it too, proclaiming to Harry in The Heir of Slytherin that he was the greatest sorcerer in the world. To which Harry retorts, Dumbledore is the greatest sorcerer in the world, reminding Riddle of Dumbledore and subsequently angering him. In my view, this anger showed insecurity in Riddle. Harry's statement reminding him of Dumbledore's power forced him to consider his own magical ability in relation to Dumbledore's. I think that he A. knows that Dumbledore is more powerful and became angry because he resents it, or B. is just completely unsure of whether or not Dumbledore is more powerful, and fears it as a possibility. While Voldemort showed extreme magical prowess from a young age, he was not alone. Dumbledore's magical abilities consistently turned heads at Hogwarts as well, particularly his skills surrounding charms and transfiguration. He also did exceptionally well on his newts, and Griselda Marchbanks, a professor working for the Wizarding Examinations Authority, remarked that Albus was able to do things with a wand that she had never seen before. Not only that, but Dumbledore befriended Grindelwald at a very young age, and I believe that this had a profound impact on Dumbledore's skill. The two spent lots of time together practicing magic, and Grindelwald was known to have come from a powerful magical bloodline, his great-aunt Bathilda Bagshot publishing A History of Magic, a magic book used to teach students at Hogwarts. Dumbledore, who always outshone everyone magically, was challenged by another for the first time, and I believe that this resulted in even greater power for the both of them. So we've established that both of them were powerful right from the start, showing an innate capability for magic and an affinity for learning new skills and abilities. So where does this leave us? How can we definitively determine who was more powerful? Dumbledore was known for being all too modest, and in the first book, there is a moment where I believe it is partially suggested that Dumbledore is the more powerful sorcerer, or if not more powerful, possessing the inherent capability to be more powerful if he so desired. McGonagall says to Dumbledore, "But you're different. Everyone knows you're the only one who, you know who, oh, all right, Voldemort, was frightened of." "You flatter me," said Dumbledore calmly. "Voldemort had powers I will never have." To which McGonagall replies, "Only because you're too, well, noble to use them." To me, this hints that perhaps Dumbledore has a higher overall threshold for power than Voldemort, but that he is perhaps not willing to make the same sacrifices, and for that reason, never achieving quite the same level of power. Voldemort's level of power was achieved by any means possible, with no exceptions. His pursuit of power was filled with ignorance, showing disregard for the consequences of the pursuit of dark magic. He delved further into the darkness than anyone before him, and became more powerful because of it, but perhaps at too great a cost. He lost himself. With that being said, even though he plunged himself into magic as much as possible, Voldemort at no point in the books or films appears to exhibit magical ability that far exceeds or outweighs Dumbledore. When they fight in the Ministry Atrium, they actually seem evenly matched for the most part, though I would argue that Dumbledore slightly edges him out. However, there are a few things to consider here. Number 1, Dumbledore was in possession of the Elder Wand, and number 2, Dumbledore was not really trying to defeat him, simply ward him off. It's hard to say how much the Elder Wand helped Dumbledore, but given how close they still were, to me it suggests that at that time Voldemort was perhaps slightly more powerful, edging out Dumbledore with the power that came from his plunge into darkness. This makes me think, what would Dumbledore have been like if he were evil? What insane level of power could he have achieved? Clearly embracing the darkness opens up a whole other spectrum of magic, but in the case of Dumbledore, it seems like he would never have even needed it, showing such prowess while remaining entirely himself and with no sacrifice to his soul. While Voldemort relied on darkness, Dumbledore's power stemmed from trust, love, and a belief in the greater good. Something that I will address quickly is that some feel that Grindelwald is a factor in this equation, and that he is in the same league as Voldemort and Dumbledore. Grindelwald isn't really the topic of this video, so I'm not going to dive into it too much, but I will say that I disagree with him being on their level. Grindelwald was powerful, but the sole fact that Dumbledore was able to defeat him, even though he was wielding the Elder Wand and embracing dark magic, sort of takes him out of the equation for me. To summarize, I think that during the timeline of the books and the movies, Voldemort and Dumbledore are almost on par with each other, with Voldemort slightly edging him out. Voldemort's advantage is that he effectively harnesses the dark side of magic, and Dumbledore's advantages are, number one, that he is in possession of the Elder Wand, and number two, that he is able to trust in the greater good. However, I think that while both of them show immense innate magical ability, Dumbledore possesses more of it. In his lifetime, he achieves nearly the same level of power that Voldemort achieves, at no cost to his well-being or soul. He achieves his power without exploring or leveraging an entire side of the magical spectrum. Voldemort is actively more powerful, but Dumbledore has only scratched the surface of his power. He possesses the ability to be far more powerful, but is just unwilling to make the same sacrifices that Voldemort made. This is why I think that Voldemort always feared Dumbledore, the unknown threshold of Dumbledore's power. This is why the subject of Dumbledore's power was always a bitter pill for Voldemort to swallow. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. What do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Who do you believe is more powerful? Let me know down in the comment section below. Until next time, you're a wizard, Harry.